friends. Welcome to Fireside Chat Volume 3. Thanks to everyone who sent their appreciation for the production of the 2 Fireside Chat episodes we've already done, and thanks also to friends and foes who have helped us to make the message better by their constructive comments. My idea behind the series, based on my 14 years of elected municipal government experience, where I had to listen to people who elected me, was to produce something interesting, entertaining, and relevant, and the truth. Because many of you wanted to know where I stood on immigration reform, this episode will be dedicated to what everyone agrees is a controversial and divisive issue. Want the truth? Then just ask me, why is the immigration reform debate important to you? Because right behind California, Texas has the second highest number of immigrants of all 50 states. In 2009, the Department of Homeland Security estimated that there were about 1.5 million undocumented immigrants living in Texas. The nation as a whole is said to have about 12 million according to DHS. But first we need to know what's right. My mother was a first-generation American. Her parents immigrated from Ireland. My daddy's family in America goes way back before the Civil War. I've asked my wife to express her experience. Chum?
I was born in Hanoi, in Vietnam. I am an immigrant to America. John and I have raised our family here in Texas. Most of my Vietnamese family have been able to immigrate to the United States. The Pho family is blessed to share in the American dream. We all become productive, hardworking citizens.
What Chum didn't tell you is that it took more than a decade to help her family leave Vietnam. Some of them endured years of confinement and malnourishment in re-education centers because they cooperated with our U.S. troops during the war. By the way, a re-education center is the politically correct term for prison camp. On the immigration issue, there is agreement on some issues and disagreement on others. If you'll remember from Volume 1 of this Fireside Chat series, my opponent, Bush's nephew, doesn't want to do anything about immigration, not even discuss his party's position. That's right, they don't even have a position.
Where do you stand on immigration?
Well, I've always said that with respect to the issue of immigration that we as Republicans have an opportunity to lead on the issue. But I keep talking about my vision for the future of Texas, and that's focusing on education, energy independence, and veterans affairs.
So immigration isn't one of those areas you're wanting to dabble in right now?
It is not.
I hope you thought that was entertaining. I had to give my youngest grandson Jackson a speaking role. I'd like to think that I put the words into his mouth. I'm John Cook, and I approve his message. Seriously though, it seems that one thing everyone agrees on is that we are an immigrant nation. Immigrants, documented or not, came here seeking a new life, prosperity for hard work, religious and political freedoms. The truth? What is this debate really over? It's about what to do with the 12 million or so hard-working folks who got here without documentation. Subtract a really small number for the bad guys. It's about what do we do with their children who have grown up here just like other American children. It's about sending daddy and mommy home and leave the government in charge of caring for their children. It's about sending men, women, and children who grew up here back to their home country that's foreign to them because they came here as undocumented kids. But let's frame the conversation with this question. Who were the first illegal immigrants to America? For the real answer, ask a Native American. Okay, for the record, I refuse to leave. I doubt anyone really thinks that leaving is a realistic solution. And if we won't leave, we shouldn't expect others who came here in search of the same American dream to pick up, pack up, leave, and hope they can return. The truth? They're victims of a broken immigration system in America. Can't we just deal with realistic solutions and not the pick up pack up and move on? Immigration has a direct impact on Texas landowners. That's why, unlike my opponent, immigration is really important to John Cook. Let's go for a little ride because I want to show you something. We share about 1,954 mile border with Mexico. That's Mexico just to my left here, right out the window. And coming up, we're going to see the border fence. We put 670 miles of fencing, just like you see outside right now. It's 110 miles of that is in the state of Texas. And the border with Mexico, and between Mexico and Texas, is a little over 1,200 miles long. The majority of the fence was actually put in the Rio Grande Valley. We had 100 miles of border fence that were put there. And no, actually it's about, I think, 70 miles of fencing that we put in between Texas and Mexico in the Rio Grande Valley. There's 21 different segments of fencing. What that means is it's like a real hodgepodge of fencing with a lot of gaps that are in it. Some of the gaps make sense because they're in areas that are covered by mountains and rivers, such as the Rio Grande River. But other portions of it, because the Rio Grande forms a natural barrier, the mountains form a natural barrier, is actually away from the border. So private landowners ended up being the victims of eminent domain in order to build the border fence. Rivers and mountains form natural barriers to immigration. It makes it a little harder for people to climb over a mountain. But I will tell you this, that most of the people who end up in this country illegally, estimates say at least 50% of them, and that's based upon people that are deported, actually came in legally and just overstayed their visas. That's how they ended up getting here. So you can see the border fence. It continues to my left here. In the El Paso sector alone, we put 131 miles of fencing up, and that was at a cost of $3 million per mile. The El Paso sector actually goes all the way into New Mexico, so all of that is not necessarily in the state of Texas. And then to make sure that the fence is secure, every quarter of a mile, we have Border Patrol agents that are there. But what's unique about this is the Rio Grande is right on the other side of that fence. We're on this side. So the United States has basically given up the access to the Rio Grande for its citizens, whereas on the other side of the fence, on the other side of the river, families go picnicking and dip their feet in the water of the Rio Grande. That's something that we can no longer do because we have this border security to keep illegal immigrants out of the country. It's just right over here. Very expensive. You don't see fences like this along the Canadian border. As a matter of fact, one of the ports of entry between Canada and the United States actually has an honor system that you're supposed to sign in when you get there, and you're supposed to sign back out when you're going to leave the country. Coming up right here is one of the gaps that are in the border fence. You can see the gap right here. That's part of the fencing that I think is going to continue in the newest appropriation from Congress. So you can see one of the reasons they didn't do it here is because you have a mountain that prevents people from coming into the country illegally. So that's basically the life on the U.S.-Mexico border as far as fences are concerned. Immigrants are disproportionately criminal. The question is, immigrants are disproportionately criminals. And immigrants are disproportionately criminals.
False.
then undocumented workers are taking jobs from American workers.
No, I don't think so.
And then undocumented workers are taking jobs from American workers.
True.
Undocumented workers are taking jobs from American workers. Undocumented workers are taking jobs away from American workers.
That's not a yes or no answer. I think sometimes yes, sometimes no.
We aren't doing enough to prevent illegal entry into the country, and this puts us at jeopardy of terrorism.
To a certain extent.
We aren't doing enough to prevent illegal immigration into the country, and this puts us in jeopardy of terrorism.
I would say yes, sir.
Okay.
I would say we're not doing enough as far as protecting our borders, yes. But as far as allowing people that are wanting to come to work here legally, I think we need to expedite that.
We aren't doing enough to prevent illegal entry into the country, and this puts us in jeopardy of terrorism.
I don't think so.
We aren't doing enough to prevent illegal entry into the country, and this puts us in jeopardy of terrorism. I think we're doing a lot. Okay. We aren't doing enough to prevent illegal entry into the country, and this puts us in jeopardy of terrorism.
I think that's false. I think in general the terrorists aren't using Mexico as an entry.
Undocumented workers are dangerous criminals and terrorists who threaten our national security.
I don't agree. Not
Yes?
true. Not true.
Undocumented workers are dangerous criminals and terrorists who threaten our national security.
Maybe out of the 12 million, maybe 25,000 maybe, but that's about it.
Undocumented workers can be dangerous criminals and terrorists who threaten national security.
No, I don't believe that.
Undocumented workers can be dangerous criminals and terrorists who threaten national security. Undocumented workers are diluting the benefits that citizens have worked for. True or false?
True.
Undocumented workers are diluting the benefits that citizens have worked for. True or false?
True.
Undocumented workers are diluting the benefits that citizens have worked for.
False.
Undocumented workers are diluting the benefits that citizens have worked for. True or false?
I would say true.
Undocumented workers are diluting the benefits that citizens have worked for.
True.
Oh, then undocumented workers are diluting the benefits that citizens have worked for. Yeah.